Picisoc. The Pacific Islands chapter of the Internet Society Picisoc serves the Internet Society's purposes by serving the interests of the global Internet community through its presence in the Pacific Islands. In addition to ISOC interests, Picisoc also focuses on local issues and developments, and acts as an impartial advisor to governments and the public on matters of significant interest to Pacific Island people concerning the Internet and ICT technology in general. History. ITPACnet was created in 1994 to see what ICT developments were being made by FFA and SOPAC, two regional organizations operating in the Pacific. This meant comparing notes, implementation, and success stories. The meeting was informal and technical in nature. FFA IT manager at the time was Sam Tofau, and SOPAC's IT manager was Leslie Allenson. It was agreed that more organizations should be brought into the group the following year. Slowly it became apparent that the countries needed to be part of the process, and ITPACnet evolved into a meeting of IT administrators and managers from the Pacific region. At around the same time, Sam Tofau, then working for FFA, came back from a meeting sponsored by UNESCO and recommended the creation of Picisoc, the Pacific Islands chapter of the Internet Society. ITPACnet slowly evolved into a crop council of regional organizations of the Pacific ICT Working Group and concentrated more on dealing with crop policies. Meanwhile, Picisoc grew, and by 2002 a board and executive were in place. The General Assembly's annual meetings became bigger, and thus PAC-INET was born, and has since evolved to become the premier ICT conference for the Pacific region. PAC-INET was able to regroup most of the original functions of ITPACnet, an event where anyone can speak freely and share views on ICT/Internet for any organization, government, private sector, etc., or as an individual. Picisoc's focus is on ICT and Internet issues for the Pacific Islands region, and it works with various organizations and governments in ensuring the continuing development of ICT in the region. Board members 2014. The One Executive Board 2014-2015 is composed of Edwin Laiva, Chairperson, Lautoka, Fiji Islands; Ellen Strickland, Vice Chairperson, Policy, Auckland, New Zealand; Priscilla Kevin, Vice Chairperson, Technical, Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea; Patrick Queet, Treasurer, Suva, Fiji Islands; Maureen Hilliard, Secretary, Rarotonga, Cook Islands; Jackson Mayak, Board Member, Port Vila, Vanuatu; Winifred Kila Amini, Board Member, Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea. Board members 2013. The two Executive Board 2013-2014 is composed of Maureen Hilliard, Chairperson, Rarotonga, Cook Islands; Ellen Strickland, Vice Chairperson, Auckland, New Zealand; Imani Feke-Atamanava Liui, Secretary, Website Alofi, Niue; Louise Nassak, Treasurer, Port Vila, Vanuatu; David Leeming, Membership Director, Honiara, Solomon Islands; Etuate Cocker, Website SIG Relations, Auckland, New Zealand; Andrew Malavuri, Board Member, Port Vila, Vanuatu. Board members 2012. The current Executive Board 2011-2012 is composed of Maureen Hilliard, Chairperson, Rarotonga, Cook Islands; Andrew Malavuri, Vice Chairperson, Port Vila, Vanuatu; Ellen Strickland, Secretary, Auckland, New Zealand; Siosi Sovalani, Treasurer, Tonga; David Leeming, Membership Director, Honiara, Solomon Islands; Will Tibbon, Website and Apralo Rep, Wollongong, NSW, Australia; Andrew Berquist, Co-Website Manager, Pago Pago, American Samoa. Annual Conference. Picisoc organizes a meeting called PAC-INET, which serves as its annual conference and AGM. PACANET is a regional conference for practitioners, developers, researchers, and those interested in ICT from all sectors to exchange information on the system design, enabling technologies, and anecdotal experiences related to the use of ICT in the Pacific Islands. It has evolved to become the Pacific's largest annual ICT conference. Countries and territories covered. The chapter covers the following countries and territories: American Samoa, Cook Islands, Federated States of Micronesia, Fiji, French Polynesia, Guam, Kiribati, Marshall Islands, Nauru, New Caledonia, Niue, Northern Marianas, Palau, Papua New Guinea, Pitcairn, Samoa, Tokelau, Tonga, Tuvalu, Vanuatu, Wallis, and Futuna.